Good evening, everyone. Welcome to closing comments here for February 25th. Let's jump right into our charts and see what happened in the markets today. First up, we got our April live cattle on the board. We did see a little bit of upside here in this cattle market today. This April live contract jumping out to a nice strong start here early, seeing a nice drive off that opening range. Did get some bids rolling early above our prior day high there at 240, really getting the ball rolling higher, picking up nearly $2 along the way. We did see some resistance step in here as this market fell just short of 242. Last week's lows here between Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday session kind of had equal lows coming in here right around that 242 level. And the Monday's opening range breakdown we saw here 2 days ago had a little leftover sellers here, so we can just see some resistance stepping in here late today and pushing this market back off of those highs. However, we didn't give up that prior day high here, and we did find some support late here right around 240. We want to see that support continue to hold early tomorrow. Bulls need to get this market pushing back up there towards 242 and get above that prior day high to really confirm that this is the support we needed, and we're going to get this uptrend back on track. But so far, we've got a good start here for those bulls, finding support at that 20-day average and a nice strong start early today. Just those gains they gave it back here late. We just want to make sure that we don't see any follow through selling early tomorrow down here below 240 back into this prior day's range. If we should see those bulls step in and try and hold this thing right here around 240 and make another run back up here towards 242 and this prior week's range. If we don't, we want to make sure that these bulls can defend the current week low down here near 238. And if they don't, we could see a little bit of slippage down here towards 236 in that 50-day average. But at the moment, looking like the bulls are trying to turn this thing back higher already. We just need to see them come out swinging early tomorrow and get a nice drive back up into the 240s. The uptrend still remains intact here. We should see the support continue to hold. Look for those bulls to keep on trying to push this market higher in the days to come. Next up are April feeders on the board. Similar story here in this feeder market today. Nice strong drive out of that opening range, pushing right up there towards these prior week lows. Not necessarily prior week's lows, but Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday's action coming in here right around 366, where we saw that resistance come in. Also, that breakdown we saw here early on Monday this week, running into some leftover supply here from that opening range breakdown. Just seeing a little bit of those sellers push back late today, but still holding some of those gains and closing back above that prior day high, finishing up there at 364 today. Bulls looking to step in and offer good support here as well. We want to see them trying to take this market higher early tomorrow. See some opening range breakouts here back above 364 and drive back up here through 366. Need to get a close above that to really confirm this move. But at the moment, looking like these bulls are picking this market back up after a brief pullback over the last 3 days or so here. But looking like that might be all the downside we're going to get. The bulls are looking to turn this market higher, and we should see them try and get some bids rolling early tomorrow. Look for the upside to continue here in this feeder market as well. The uptrend still remains intact here in both feeder and live markets, so we should see these bulls continue to keep on driving this market back up here towards the current year's highs. Look for the upside to continue here in both feeder and fat markets. Next up, our May corn futures, which are the new front month now, are on the board. We did see a little bit of upside here today, however, just a pretty quiet day here in this corn market as we continue chopping around here in about a 10-cent range. We did see this thing drive up here towards 442 today, running up here around this 50-day moving average and the resistance line up here right around 444. If we split this thing into thirds or quarters here, we are in the top end of this range, and so we should see the bears try and step in and keep this market capped up here in the low to mid 440s. We should expect to see some resistance step in here and drive this market back down into the 430s. However, if we do get a nice strong push early tomorrow and see this market close back here above 444 and this prior week's high, or Monday's high, we should see this thing try and turn back up and get stuck in this range here between 444 and 460. But in the meantime, look for this thing to keep on churning around down here in a tight little range. This corn market looks pretty comfortable here in this area, and we don't expect any major directional moves to come anytime soon. Look for this choppy action to continue across this corn market. Next up, crude oil prices continue to slip a little bit here today. Last couple days, we've had a battle here between 66 and 67 as this market has been fighting it out up here near these range highs. Looking like those bears are starting to step in and win this fight here, though, at the moment. We've seen continued downside over the last 2 days here as this market has started to slip and hasn't gotten any traction up there above 66.5 to 67. Seeing that resistance start to take hold here and overpower those bulls in this market. We should see the downside continue and try and push this market back here across this current range we're in between 62 and 67. We should see this market continue to slip back down towards those range lows. That's the range conditions we're in. Just say that this market is a little bit overextended here at the moment, and we should see this thing kind of slip back. Crude oil prices have been pretty comfortable here in the 60s recently, and we don't really expect to see that change anytime soon. So look for this choppy range-bound action continue in this corn market or crude oil market as well. We did see a nice day of upside here across these equity indexes. The S&P picking up some nice ground, getting a close back above our major averages, and pushing up there towards 7,000. We weren't able to reach it today, but we did push back off of these range lows. This market has been kind of stuck in about a 3% range over the last 2 to 3 months here. Last week or two, we have been down here trading around 6,800. And we just seen this market kind of slip back up here towards these range highs. Very typical of what we expect here during these current conditions. Mega cap names still very mixed, and seeing a lot of back and forth and choppy action in those names. So we're not really expecting any major trends to hold here in this market at the moment. We need to see a little bit better structure from those big large cap companies before we can really get comfortable in any major uptrends here. In the meantime, we should just see this market continue to chop up. We're back up here near the top end of this range we've been in over the last couple months. So we'll look for the resistance start to step in as we're trading up here around 7,000. We did have NVIDIA earnings today. We did have a nice pop early after them, but at the moment we're sitting unchanged on NVIDIA right now in the after hours session. We did see a nice push up here above 195, which has been multi-month highs here, so that's a good sign for those bulls. However, we are in the after hours still just trading here right around this closing price. The reaction we get tomorrow is going to be important. If those bears are able to take that earnings announcement and push it back down tomorrow into that range for NVIDIA, we should see some more downside continue here in the NASDAQ as it should start to weigh on things. However, we did see a little bit of upside here as well in the NASDAQ today, kind of pushing off these range lows. This range in the NASDAQ has been wider, nearly 8 to 9% here, and we have seen this thing kind of come out of these range lows, driving right back. At the moment, we are still just stuck in the middle of this big 8 to 9% range, so don't be messing around here. Diddling in the middle is what's going to get you chopped up. So wait for this market to visit the extremes again before we get involved. But in the meantime, we just expect to see some more choppy action here in these indexes as this picture still looks pretty muddy here for those mega cap names. There are still some good spots out there in this market to be invested, so stick with those relative strength areas of the market and avoid these indexes until they can get a little bit better picture and a little bit more structure to trade around. In the meantime, we should see just some more messy action here in these indexes. And that's about all we got for tonight. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Catch you guys tomorrow.